Howdy, howdy folks, welcome back. So today what I wanted to do is a tutorial on slime chunks. I've had a lot of people message me and question me throughout my videos on how do I find slime chunks, because if you've seen in my videos, I always seem to have a lot of slime balls. So to get started, I created a new world right here, and I've already loaded it up, so it's all done and rendered. So what you want to do is, the first thing you want to do is, wherever in your world, this is up to you, wherever your base, your house, your hidey hole, whatever, wherever you're going to be permanent at, like this is your permanent spot, you want to be about the center of that spot. So let's say this block is my house, just for the sake of the tutorial, and right here center, and everything around me, I have everything all set up, you know, all my farms and everything, and I want my slime chunk somewhere in here. So what we need to do is we need to get this measurement, so we need to get these coordinates right here. So you bring up Shift F3 and you write down your Z and your X coordinates. So we have -487 and -206. So write those down, whatever your coordinates are, write them down, and you can see them in the left hand side up there. You see the Z, X, X, Y, and Z. So you need your X and your Z. You don't need your Y. Your Y is your up and down measurement. We don't need to know about that right now. So write those down. Then you also need your seed. In Minecraft 1.3, you need to bring up the command prompt to get your seed. So I've already done that, and my seed is up there. But the way you do it is on your keyboard, you press the question mark key. That brings up command prompt. You type in seed, and you press enter, and bam, there's your seed. Write your seed down. You're going to need that. It's very, very important. So right now, we're going to pause the game, and we're going to want to. So then we're going to want to Google Slime Finder, and there's two of them. You can go this one, or I use this one. I only use this one because I've been using it and I know how to use it. So we're going to want to put the seed in here, which I've already done it for the sake of the tutorial. Updates map, and bam, this is our whole entire world. If you were to move this graph around to any measurement you want, gives us all these slime chunks. The highlighted green is a slime chunk. So if we wrote down our measurements earlier, which were -47 and -206, bam, go there. So our numbers changed because it's going to give us the closest number within the chunks. A chunk is a 16 by 16 square. So all these squares in here are not blocks in Minecraft. So like, you know, if you were standing on that one block, these are actually 16 by 16 blocks. So 16 blocks this way, 16 blocks this way, 16 blocks this way, and 16 blocks that way. That makes one chunk. That's how Minecraft is coded. That's why these are all chunks. So that's 16 blocks, another 16 blocks, you know. So if you were to run this way, you'd be running 16, 32, 48, you know, and so on and so forth. So approximately in the center right here, -208, because our number was -206, so that's the closest chunk. And our number was -487, but -496 is here because that's the closest. So right there, dead in the center, is approximately where our base, house, fort, whatever would be, about right there. So what you want to do is you want to find the closest chunk. That way you're not having to AFK anywhere, and while you're working in the area, slimes will spawn. So this right here seems like it's the closest. If we're right here, that's pretty close. That's even closer than this one. So I would say we would go with this one. So I'm going to bring this kind of to the center. You just drag it, and then we can zoom in like so. So what we need to know is we need to know pretty much two numbers, just to simplify this. We need to know this corner number right here, -240 by -544. That's our two numbers. That's the easiest way to do this, you guys. -240, -544. Draw a square just like this, and in this corner you write X, -544, and Z, -240. So take this little corner right here, because we know a chunk is a 16 by 16. So all we have to do is dig 16 by this way and 16 by this way. So in the Z, we dig 16, and on the X, we dig 16. But we need to know which way we need to dig. Do we need to dig, you know, in the positive way, because these are negative? So do we want to go like 241, 242, or do we want to go in the descending like 239, 238? Well, it's easy to see that. If you highlight in any of these chunks, you see numbers. The first number is your X, the second number is your Z, and if it says 2, that means to that number. So within that chunk, it's giving you this number to this number, this number to this number. That's all it's doing. But we don't need to know all that. That just makes things just, it makes it worse, so people can't understand. We're worried about the negative 240, the negative 544, this little corner right here. But which way do we dig? So if we're standing on negative 240 block in Minecraft, because you can stand on that specific block, we need to dig up going this way. Well, what is that? If we're negative 240, you see our second number, it says negative 240, and we start moving up, 256, 272, we're still in the negatives, and to negative 288. So we need to dig to where the numbers are growing. So they're growing. So if we're standing on negative 240 block, we need to dig 16 blocks to where it's growing. So 241, 242, 243, all the way up till 16 blocks. And the same with the X. If we're right here on that block and we start going this way, our first numbers 544, 528, 512, which means it's getting smaller. So then we need to, sorry, I was writing something down. We need to dig to where the numbers are getting smaller. So if we're at negative 544, we'd go negative 543, 42, 41, and so on to 16 blocks. So all we're doing is digging 16 blocks this way, 16 blocks this way, and then connect the dots when you're done down below. And then you'll have your chunk. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go back into Minecraft now, since we've went over this, and I'm going to show you how to find that inside the game, and then we'll start digging it out and showing you how to do it. So hold on 1 second. Alright, we're back in the game, so let's bring up our F3, and remember those numbers I told you to write down? Negative 544 on the X and negative 240 on the Z. So it's very simple, you guys. You just move. You see these numbers? Our Z number's moving. It's either growing or it's not growing. It's either growing or it's not growing. Our X. So Z, X. Very simple. You can see the numbers. There's no way of not knowing it. I mean, look at the numbers in the left-hand corner. 47, 48, 49, 90. That's our X. And then look at our Z. 204, 205, 206, 207. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to find the numbers, and it's not that hard. Usually what I'll do is, if we were right here and we needed to go to negative 544, I usually just like go in one direction first. Oh, whoops, I'm not going the right way. Negative 544, so let's go back up here. So this way. So we'll go negative 544. This is the easiest way to do it, just to get one number first, and then we'll work on the second number. So we keep on going, it's almost there. 544, right there. So right there is negative 544. Then we need to go to negative 240. Well, which way is that? Well, it's not this way. Our Z is getting smaller. We need to go up. So negative 240. So we stay on negative 544. You see how that changes at 545? We'll stay in a straight line all the way to negative 240. Which I've already done this for the sake of the tutorial, and it is right here. This block, negative 544 by negative 240. Remember I showed you on that graph, the lower right hand corner, I said to draw it out. Remember I said we need to dig 16 this way, 16 this way, and once we connect the dots out there, that is our chunk. Well, we needed to know which way to dig. Well, we on the Z coordinate, we didn't know if we needed to dig this way or this way. Well, I said the numbers had to grow because we already checked that. The numbers are going to grow, so they're growing, as you can see. Oh, I'm sorry. No, did I say they're going to grow? Let me see. Hold on. Oh no, I was wrong on that, you guys. Woo! See, I told you I might make a couple mistakes on this. So let me take this out. the numbers actually get smaller. So we're going to want to go this way, 16 blocks. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I'm only doing this in the air because I got the water down there. Kind of bummer it worked out that way, but that's the way it worked out. So back on our block is negative 544 by 240. Our x was negative 544, which was this way, and we know that it needed to ascend. Oh, I did this totally backwards. Dang it. I did it totally backwards. The numbers needed to grow on this one. Woo. See? And that's why you want to know 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And I'm going to leave this in here. I'm not going to edit this mess up out just because you can exactly see what you do wrong. If you dig the wrong way, well, you're digging way in the opposite way. Because I said negative 544, the numbers had to grow. So 545, 546, all the way. You see the numbers are growing out 16 blocks, which that's the 16th block. And then I said on the Z numbers, the numbers had to descend. They had to get smaller. As you can see, they are getting smaller going out this way. That's the 16th block. So you would normally, so if you were on land, you would mark this all above land, you would mark this out. That's the easiest way I do it. Just like if you're on the flats down there. So you can see your whole chunk. So we're just going to finish this out. That way you guys can actually see what a chunk is. That is a chunk. That's a 16 by 16. So in that game, in that slime finder program, when we were looking at it, that is our chunk right there. That's what we were looking at. That is the whole highlighted area. What we need to do is we need to dig down where slimes spawn. Slimes in, as far as Minecraft 1.3 point whatever, they spawn at Y40 and under. Meaning your Y number is the number you're standing on right here. Your feet position. And so we're reading 80 right now. We need to go down to 40. So what we want to do is we want to go back to our main spot, the negative 544 by 240, because that's our main controlling block. And we need to dig down all the way down to, I say 40. We'll just do 40 just to start it out. Get out of here, water. Okay, so let's go down. Right here, 40. So this is, let me put some light down, I'm sorry. This is technically where they can start spawning, but for the sake of, you know, not having it right there on the edge of the borderline, I usually like to go down a couple blocks. So, you know, I don't know, 2 or 3 blocks. I just went down 3 right there. So now this is our corner, and this is where we start digging. Remember, we needed to know which way we need to dig this way and which way we need to dig this way. So the numbers have to, on the X position, which is this way, the numbers have to ascend. That's not the X. This is the X. So they need to get bigger, and that's not the right way. This way, the numbers needed to get bigger. So 544, 545, 46, so they get bigger. So we need to go 16 blocks. So let me, actually, you know what? I'll just do this real quick since I have creative. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now, this is the thing. If you come into a cave, light up around you a little bit, you know, remark this out. You're going to want to have to come in here anyway and light it all up. But just remember it. That's actually good that we ran into it. And you're going to want to still continue your path. So it doesn't matter. If anything, a cave will help because it's just less digging you have to do later within your chunk. So, I lost my number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So right there, there's the one way, and then on the negative 240, we needed to get, the numbers need to get smaller, so that's 239. We need to go 16 that way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Right there. So now all you would do is you would connect the dots just like what we did in the air. Connect it that way, and then start hollowing it out. So, for the sake of the tutorial, let me do that for you real quick, and then we'll come back on. So hold on 1 second. Okay guys, so I got it all dug out. For the big slimes to spawn, you need 3 blocks high, so you need to make it 3 blocks high. And then if you run into any caves, just fill it in like this. I believe there's a cave right here. Yeah, see, there's a cave right here. I just filled it in. We don't want to worry about that. And this is your slime chunk right here. This is where they would spawn at. Now, there are a couple things you need to know. One is they need to be 3 high for the big ones to spawn. Number 2, you need to light up all the caves around you because it takes away from spawning the other mobs. So they all share the same characteristics as far as the spawning rates. So you need to light up everything as if you were building a normal mob trap, and you need to light up. So that's something that you're gonna have to do manually. You know, obviously, you're gonna want to do that anyway because you want to have good spawn rates. So you're gonna have to light up everything. And 2 is, remember, 40 below. And if you want to do multiple layers, so you can have more than one pad to increase the spawning rates, you can just go down in a corner or something like over here, and you at least need 1 block for them to spawn on, which is right here. They do spawn on torches, so if anybody says, oh, they can't spawn on torches, Exumavoid is doing he did a test on what they can and cannot spawn on, and they have been proven to spawn on top of torches. So if anybody says they can't, they can. And I have torches on mine, and they spawn all the time. So you need at least 1 block for them so they can spawn on. So leave 1 block. Remember, you need at least 3 blocks for them to be able to spawn 3 high. And you can just start digging out another layer like this. And like I said, if you run into any caves again like this, you can just fill it in. You know, your floor and so on. You dig the whole pad as if you did up there. You're going to mimic this down here, and you would dig it all out. TNT is probably advised for this since it's the easy way. If you don't have a TNT, you can do it by hand, and it doesn't take as long as you think. Trust me, I've done 7 layers of these in my SMP world. From level 40 all the way down to bedrock, just like this, what you see. I did it all with an iron pick, and I did it within about an hour of non-stop. So it's not that hard. It's really not that hard. And that's pretty much it. You can either come in here and kill them, or you can do waterways and stuff. I'm not going to do a tutorial on that because there are tutorials out there on how to do all the waterways and bring them up. I just wanted to show you how to find the chunk and how to start the pad just like this. That's what a lot of people have problems is how do you use it? How do you find it, you know? So that will conclude this tutorial. I want to keep it kind of short. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments. Thank you for watching. If you like it, leave a rating. If not, leave a negative rating. And that's it. So thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you later. Bye bye now.